Alright, so here we have the framework laptop. Now the one I got is the framework 13-inch laptop. This is an AMD, and the box outside is very simple, as you could tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, and the reality is this does cost more than other laptops because they are a smaller company. They don't have the resources like these much bigger companies. Okay, so I had this whole box upside down. So I was supposed to open it from the top, but it's okay. I'm gonna do it because I don't want to flip it over. So what is this? Okay, I'm gonna go through these, probably not in order because obviously it's upside down, but here's the framework laptop itself. I have a AC power adapter, and then here are all my different accessories, so different types of inputs and outputs I could have right here, all in one case, and I'll go through that a little bit later. And then I don't know what this is. What is this? Stickers? Cool. A book? Oh yeah, so let me open this up. Okay, so alright, so that is a reusable stickers and stuff. Okay, some other instructions, so I'll go through that a little bit later. And then what do I have here? Oh, so this is the input cover. Oh, okay, there it is, because I got the do-it-yourself kit right here. So that is the keyboard cover, and here's the bezel. So everything is neatly labeled and packaged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all of this up and then get everything outside of the box. Okay, so we got everything out of the box, and let's check out the main star, and that is the laptop. So the one I got is the 13-inch AMD Ryzen 7040 series. So this isn't the most powerful that I could get, but honestly I can upgrade this, and I think it's going to suit me really well. And I'm really surprised at how small and light this is, especially compared to my older laptop. So let's go ahead and get this open, and hopefully in time there'll be more configurations that you can get, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the overall goal with this. And there it is. Wow, here's a very nice brush aluminum finish, very thin. And here are all your inputs that I got here for your different ports. Check that out. Here's the back, and let me move this aside. So here we are, and let's open this up. Oh wow, check that out. This is so awesome looking. And here's a little cover over here, and this is something that I've not seen in a laptop. And whenever you're watching this in videos and actually seeing it, it's just so different. I mean, everything's clearly labeled. There's QR codes where it goes to the instructions. So there's the CPU storage, your RAM goes here, battery goes here. Everything is really well laid out, and all the details are here. Wow. Now when it comes to repairability, this is one of the big reasons why I got this. This has a 10 out of 10 repairability, and I'm going to open the other boxes. It comes with that one screw and other things, but yeah, very, very impressed with this. And also the camera modules, you can completely shut these off physically for privacy reasons. So let me go ahead and open these other boxes. Okay, so here's the first box. And I like how organized everything is, hats off to the design packaging team, especially for somebody who might be new to this. So what do we have in here? Okay, so there is, here's a HDMI expansion card, which is what I wanted. And here's just that one tool to do everything. This is amazing, just one tool to do it all. So I'm gonna leave this out here. So next up we have the actual keyboard part, and go ahead and open this up. All right. Okay, cool. And this kind of gives you an idea of what would happen if you need to replace a part. You can replace pretty much everything in here. So there it is. Oh wow. It's just so cool. I feel like I'm at the factory. So there is the keyboard right there. Reminds me so much of a MacBook. And here's the cables that's going to connect to the laptop. So I'm going to set this aside. And here is the last of the larger boxes. Get this open. And this is the bezel. And you can choose many different colors on here, which is nice. So here it is. Very lightweight. So there is the bezel, and see, there's physically you could actually close your webcam and I think your microphone as well. So these are all the main parts that we have here. Now, I also did not buy the storage and memory from the website. I got these separately. So I got this 2 terabyte M.2, plus I got a 64 gig DDR5 kit, and for the new AMD processors you do need DDR5. Plus I also got some external storage. So I have a 5 terabyte here and then another 5 terabyte here, so 10 terabytes. And in total for all of this, for the laptop and the storage and memory, it was around like $1,500 US, and including storage it was another 300 something bucks, nearly 400. So anywhere from around $1,800 is where I got all of this, and closer to $1,900 if you include tax. So definitely not cheap, but once again, I don't intend to upgrade anytime soon with this. I want this to be my final or last laptop, if at all possible, or at least for it to allow me to use this for many, many years to come with the upgrades that I'm going to be able to do. All right, so now let's go ahead and build our do-it-yourself laptop. And the thing is, Framework gives you a lot of great instructions and guides on their website. So I went ahead and looked at that, and I'm going to go ahead and put this together. And starting off with the first two most important things are storage and RAM. And so there's a storage spot there and a RAM there. So what I am going to do is put all of this in together, and then after that I'm going to be connecting the keyboard and then putting on the bezel and then putting in my accessories here on the left and right, and then installing my operating systems. So let's go ahead and do that. So here I got my 2 terabyte Western Digital M.2, and I wanted to get 4 terabytes, but well, it is really expensive, and so I think 2 terabyte would be good enough. And that's why I got some external storage, not only for those external drives, but I also got one of these modules that's going to give me 1 terabyte, which I am going to be using for another operating system. All right, so here's what's really amazing. With just one tool, you can put all of this together. So we'll go ahead and unscrew this, and then I'm going to pop my M.2 in here. And this is absolutely amazing. I still can't get over how simple that is. All right, so I got that screw out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my M.2 drive there, lock it down, and then I'm going to screw this in. And what's great about this screw is it is magnetized, so no problems there. So there is my M.2. You don't want to over tighten it, but you want to make sure it's in there. And there's also a flat side on here as well, so if you need to, like, push things up along with the actual screw size right here. So let's go ahead and put in our memory, which is 64 gigs. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and put it right in here. Now, depending upon what you want to do with your computer, obviously your memory needs will be different. But the reason why I got 64 gigs is because, well, even on my desktop, I have 64 gigs. So I want to be sure that I have enough RAM for everything, because I do use a lot of browser tabs and windows, and so having more RAM is always helpful. So I got the crucial right here. And then if you open up these memory part right here, you see that there is a piece of paper that says memory, it seems like. Okay, so it goes in there. Okay, so one thing that I noticed for the memory, on one side the label goes up and you snap in, but on the other side you actually have to flip it upside down, which is I guess weird, but yeah. So I think that's how it's supposed to work, because when I tried it the other way it didn't. So this side is upside down, and then this side the label's facing up. Okay, and you'll know that it fits in because it does snap in place. And then for the keyboard and touchpad, there's just a single cable here. Just push it here, and you want to make sure the connectors for the touchpad are connected, and these are already connected. So once you have that, you can just flip it over. Okay, so I think that's there. Yep, so that's there. And yeah, then the final part, well, before I fasten everything, is the bezel itself. And then also on the front, there's some stickers here as well. So I'm going to remove that. This is going to be for your webcam, and I think the microphone as well. So there. So now I should be able to just set this on here. Oh, there's some magnets. That's nice. Okay, so once you have it on there, you could hear the snapping sounds, but the magnets help a lot. You don't have to really do anything else. And then, yeah, it's all on there. Secure. And I think that's tight enough. And then you could actually just screw these in. But what's great is this is already built in there, so I don't necessarily have to have screws separately. That's the biggest thing. When you have these small screws, it's easy to lose, but I'm not going to tighten these yet because I want to make sure it powers up and it could see my memory and everything's okay. But let me go ahead and put in some of these modules. Now the thing is, with the 13-inch laptop, it actually has 4 different inputs that you can use for these modules, you know. And so the top 2 right here, they do require more power, so things like maybe for your display stuff, your HDMI, it's going to go there. And then the other stuff you could use for the USB ports. And also I'm going to use for Ethernet as well. But I'm going to go ahead and open these up next. So let me show you what I got. So the first thing is the HDMI. Then I have an Ethernet. That's really important for me to have an Ethernet. And then I have USB-A and another USB-A, 2 USB-As, and then USB-C. I actually have 2 of them right there, USB-C. And then I have 1 terabyte expansion card, which I'm going to use to put in Windows because my primary operating system is going to be Linux Mint. So let's kind of see how these things look like, because this is a really cool concept where you could just carry these around and then install the ones that you need. And these also come in different colors as well, so that's really nice. So here is my storage one, 1 terabyte. Hopefully they'll come in with larger capacities in the future, and just like plug it in this way. Yeah, there it is, secure. And I'm going to go ahead and put in some other ones. And I don't know if I'm going to be using HDMI on this side or that side. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be using the Ethernet all the time. But when I do, I'll just like unplug one of them. More than likely, I'll unplug one of my USB-A or USB-C. And with some display devices, you know, you can actually just use the USB-C, which is great. So I could use that space for something else. Right, so here's the HDMI. So it goes in upside down like this. And then over here, I'm going to be using my USB-C and USB-A, because you do need USB-C, I think, for your charging. So you have to have at least 1 USB-C on here. So I'm going to be using this right here. So whenever I need my Ethernet, I'll just unplug one of these. I don't know, should I use the USB-A? Yeah, there might be some USB devices that I'm going to have to plug in that way. There it is. And for you to take these out, you just press this, push it up. There it is. Yeah, you got to hold down and push it up. Wasn't as easy the first time. And then the last thing is the actual adapter, power adapter. Now, you don't necessarily have to buy their power adapter. You could probably use some existing ones if you already have a laptop. But I just be on the safe side. I just use theirs. Is the brick right there. So really simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up, and then I'm going to turn this on for the first time to make sure it turns on, it gets into the BIOS, and I could see the storage and memory in here. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. First time turning this on. Now I moved my USB-C cable from this side over there so I could plug in my power. So lifting this up. Yep. Now let's see if this turns on. Here is the power button. And this does have a fingerprint reader as well. So let's see if this works. Okay, so nothing's coming on. I don't know if it just takes long. There it is. So, okay, so press OK. That's kind of weird. I actually had to press enter for something to come on. There it is. So let me see. Boot from file. Boot manager will take you to the boot manager. Boot from file. Boot system from file device. Administrative, secure boot, setup utility to continue to booting process. Now before I start that, since it does see my memory and storage properly, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this. Once again, this is really awesome that the screw is already in there. You don't have to lose your screws. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. And here's the Ethernet. It looks different. It's clear. And go ahead and plug that in. And it is much larger. Really odd. So, okay, so you can see here, I have Linux right here, but I also have Windows over here whenever I'm going to be installing that on this external storage.
So when it comes to installing Windows on an external drive, I discovered that there are multiple ways to do this. And before, whenever I would make these type of bootable Windows USB sticks, I would typically use Rufus. And before, there was an option to create a Windows to go USB, which means that you could run Windows off of that USB stick. But for some reason, the latest version, as far as I tried, did not have that option anymore. And so I did look around and I found that this software, Win to USB, is the one that works right now. It uses Windows to go portable Windows. So that means you could run Windows off of an external storage. In this case, my SSD that I have in my Framework laptop, or you could have it on a USB, but obviously having a fast SSD is better, and this worked for me. And there are many videos on YouTube that goes over how to use this, but it is a fairly straightforward process. So if you did want to install Windows on your external drive on your Framework laptop, I highly recommend using this software.
All right, so my Framework 13 laptop is built, and at the time of this video, I have been using it for a few weeks now. So I'm going to be giving you my initial impressions and initial review. And the first thing I want to say is, this is the laptop of my dreams. So I have been building my own PC for well over 15 years now. And so it's been a very long time since I bought a pre-built PC. And similarly, I wanted something like that in a laptop. And other companies have tried with giving you more upgradability options, but there's never truly been a laptop where it allows you to upgrade practically everything. And this one offers that. Basically, all the main components here, from your memory, storage, CPU, motherboard, and for the Framework 16, you can replace the actual GPU, but this one has an integrated GPU, the screen, bezels, keyboard, your ports, your slots right here. You could change all of these things out, and then that leads to the repairability. With this laptop, this is the ultimate in repairability. With just one single tool which they provide, you could basically replace every single part of this, every major part. You could rebuild your entire laptop if you wanted to. And that is something that is so rare. And actually, I don't think any laptop manufacturer so far can offer that. Now, there are other laptops that offer you a lot of upgradability and repairability, but none of them come close to the Framework laptop. And that's the best thing about this machine. It is upgradable and repairable, and it's basically build your own laptop. This is the do-it-yourself version, and so that is my favorite thing about this, and that is the laptop that I've been dreaming of. Now, in terms of just a general laptop, that's a little bit different, because this laptop while I think is really, really great quality design, it is not cheap. This is a very expensive laptop, and for the same price that I'm paying here, which at the time of this video, everything altogether probably spent nearly $1,800, I could get a much more powerful laptop. About the only laptops that are more expensive than this are, of course, Apple laptops. But I'm not buying it just for purely what it offers now. I'm buying it for what it can offer later. As I stated, upgradability and repairability. And hopefully in the end, this is the last laptop that I buy, because right now I am really loving the whole experience in this. I am running Linux Mint, the same operating system that I use on my computer and my other laptops. And this is my main operating system. This is my everyday laptop. I do everything on here, and I do some modern gaming as well. Some really light modern gaming. It can do that, but it's not the best at it. So if you are looking to get this for purely gaming purposes, you might want to get a more powerful CPU GPU combo than what I have here in my laptop. And then I'm also running Windows as well. I have this additional storage that I got. It just plugs right in here as one of your expansion slots or your ports. And I am running Windows 11 primarily to do things like DaVinci Resolve, and it runs well. And so I really don't have much to complain about. I'm just so happy to have this. But it's going to be a longer review for me to actually understand how this works. So maybe in a month, a few months or so, I'll do an updated review to give you my thoughts and impressions on using it. But my first initial impressions and review is that this is the laptop that I've been waiting for. And it is basically giving me everything that I want and then some. And also, I'm so happy that I could finally say I built my own laptop. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave in the comments area below, and I'll see you on another episode.